tool. Need access to record, let me know that as well, and I can get that for you. Connor O'Neill, you're up first, sir.
Steve, with the travel schedule that you laid out at the back end of your presser the other day, how much have you studied up on antibodies and how much are you worried about getting sick on the way out to California?
Well, I'm on an antibiotic right now. Hopefully it'll start working here pretty soon. Yeah, I'm a little worried about it. You know, um, Obviously we're going to be on a plane for a pretty extended amount of time, breathing kind of all the same air. Um, I've talked to the trainer a little bit about possibly weren't putting masks on just to try to protect yourself the best you can. There's really not much we could do about it. It's a tough time of year to be traveling that far and with what's going on with sickness and sickness on our team. And so that's why I was really proud of for a lot of reasons, I was really proud of the win Saturday, but a lot of it was overcoming, the adversity of some guys being ill.
To kind of follow up on that, specifically to Cam Hildreth and the game that he had after the seemingly week that he had.
Yeah.
You've coached him for 4 years. How proud are you of him in what he's able to fight through, what he's able to give you on that kind of effort?
I mean, I've always been really proud of Cam, Connor, you know that. He's just a very physically, mentally tough person, and he was really sick against Duke and obviously against Louisville because he had to come out of the game, couldn't go back in. But he found a way to get through it on Saturday, and a lot of that's just his resiliency and his well. He just wants to be out on the court. He wants to win. He's got really good parents that raised him the right way, and he's about the right things. And um, you know, he's like a security blanket for me. He's going to guard the other team's best player. He's going to play the hardest. He's always going to be defending his tail off, and so um, we need him, and it showed on Saturday. He stepped up and played both. He plays both ends, and he's a very valuable player to our program.
David Teal.
Steve, you dropped a couple in a row. Pitt necessarily wouldn't be the opponent I'd want to play, given the way they are able to just kind of beat you up a little bit. How did you guys respond?
I was really proud of him, David, because you're right. We started on this stretch with a hard fought win over Carolina, and then we played Duke really tough, but got beat. And then we went to Louisville and they got us pretty good, and then so now it's about confidence and we're going through some sickness. We got all these things and you got to find a way because nobody's going to feel sorry for you. And I thought they handled that uh, pretty darn well. Came back on Thursday, had a good practice Friday. Now, Trey and Cam didn't practice Thursday and Ty didn't practice Friday, but we still had great energy. And knowing that going into that game against Pitt was going to be a really hard game, healthy or not, and because they can really score the ball from five positions and they're hard to guard. And I expected it was going to be a close game and it was. We got out on them a couple times. We just couldn't get away from them to their credit. And so I was really proud, for us to win that game. And I'm sure it'll bode well for us, later on in the year.
I presume you're flying out today.
Yeah, we're going to practice here at 11:45. Then we're going to drive down to Charlotte. We'll leave here at 2:45 and fly out, I don't know, 5 or 6, something like that, to San Francisco. And so it's a direct flight, it'll be good. And then we'll fly back on Sunday, direct back to Charlotte. I think we get back in here around 6, and then we'll, excuse me, then we'll have a short walkthrough practice when we land, eat, and then put them to bed, not practice Monday, and practice Tuesday to get ready to play Florida State.
And just with with the sickness going through your team, will you taper back whatever practice plans you had on the West Coast?
Yeah, you know, Dave, we'll see how we do when we get out there. Typically, the day before a game, we go an hour and a half, and half hour that's probably film and what we call dummy O or dummy D. So about an hour live. I probably won't back off of that too much. I mean, you still got to get reps. But this time of year, you're not going, at least I'm not going 2.5 hours. So we'll see how it goes when we land tonight, you know, how we feel in the morning, but we got pretty good time for practice in the afternoon. I'm sure we'll be ready to go. And then we'll play Wednesday, and then Thursday we're going to practice at Stanford before we move hotels. And then we'll move hotels after practice for Cal. Practice at Cal on Friday, play Saturday. Like I said, since the game's at 5, we'll be done by 7:30. It really made no sense not to try to take a red eye. And red eye's not good for you anyway. We'd have to go back to the hotel, wait till midnight, you know, just not good. So we're going to get them back, go to bed, get up the next day, and fly home.
Go next to Cam Lemons.
Steve, I feel like you get inundated with this question all the time. Omaha obviously didn't go on Saturday.
Yeah.
What's kind of his status, and also what should be the expectations for Omaha when he eventually gets back to the court?
Well, that's well, first of all, Omaha practiced last week on Thursday and Friday live. He could go 50% of the reps. And we had him limited to 600 on his catapult. So we monitored that throughout the entire practice. I expected him to be able to play limited minutes on Saturday, but he wasn't able to go. Our medical team has told me that, there's really not a time frame right now because his foot's just not reacting well to the injury that he sustained at Virginia Tech. Now, it doesn't have anything to do with the surgery or the bone graft. It's just not healing, and injuries are all different. He's just not comfortable. And so, he's frustrated. I'm frustrated. We're all frustrated because we want what's best for him. He wants to play. And so I'll just have to continue to work with our medical staff to kind of see where he is at. I had fully expected, when he came back for Virginia Tech 3-4 weeks ago, he'd be fine. And he got hurt in that game, and it just hasn't recovered the way that our medical team or he has thought he could, and he's worked very hard at it. So I don't really have a timeline, at this point. Omaha's a really good player. He didn't play much as a freshman, but I think people got a pretty good glimpse of what he's capable of. He plays really hard, really good defender, rebounder. He can stretch the court at the 4. He could play 4-5, but it's too late in the year for that to learn 2 positions offensively, so he just played the 4. But defensively, he could guard a 5. I just think he brings a lot to the table, for our team and added depth, inside. But in that respect, I think Juke's done a really good job. We made the decision when Omaha went down to play Juke at the 3 and the 4. I think with him and Trey, I think they've done really, really well. And Trey's done a good job of, slipping over to the 5 sometimes. So everybody's kind of interchangeable. Hunter plays 1-2, Ty plays 1, Cam plays 3-4, DC's a 2-3, Parker 2-3. We got interchangeable guys. And right now DC's out too. He re-aggravated his foot on Friday, tried to go Saturday, wasn't able to. I don't think he'll practice today. He'll be day to day as far as his availability.
Steve,
Go ahead.
Just to follow up with that, you've mentioned the versatility you guys have, but how much has it helped maybe not using it as much, given Efton staying out of foul trouble the last few games and really been just a factor defensively?
Yeah, no question. That's been huge. And Efton's a unbelievable defender. The way he hedges those ball screens, that takes a lot of energy. And he's doing a really good job. Plus, he's guarding the post, and he's not letting guys get catches in there. He's the anchor. He's a very verbal player. He's very smart when it comes to coverages. Not always as smart when it comes to fouling, but he's done better, and look, he plays hard, man. So sometimes those things are going to happen, and I'd rather dial a guy down than dial him up, especially that position. That's a hard playing dude at that size now, and he's going to have a big challenge this week coming up, with the big fellow at Stanford. But that's been big. That's been big, and we need to keep it that way.
Kip Coons.
Yes, Steve, you mentioned Stanford Center. Perfect segue for me to ask, what kind of problems does Maxime Reynaud pose for you? He seems to be the classic European big in that he's multi-dimensional.
Yeah. Well, he causes all kinds of problems, Kip, and because he can move all over the floor. I mean, not only can he post up, he can face up. They run him off staggers. Who does that at the 5? I mean, we've seen all these. Last year it was DJ Burns and his unique skill set. This year it's him, and so you have to be able to game plan him on the block, facing up, on the pop, coming off screens, which most 5s don't chase, have to chase 5s off screens. And so it's a lot. And so I thought we did a good job on him here when we played him the first time, but we'll have to do an even better job on him out there. And you double him some, but it's not like he hasn't been doubled, and they have really good players around him. So, he's going to pass out of there and put you behind the play. And so you got to mix those looks up as well. And so he brings he challenges you schematically when it comes to preparing to play for them. But I think they got other really good players. I mean, Blake's is one of the most improved players in the league. Number 4. I think he's outstanding. I'm sorry, I know numbers better than I know names. The young freshman, Young, is really good. So it's a hard team. They're good. I think they've only lost one game since we played them, and I don't think anybody has gone out there and won at Stanford. So it's going to be a challenge.
Steve, thank you. Safe travels.
All right, thanks.
All right.